Now, this video is pretty late, but I really wanted to talk about Godzilla King of the Monsters. Originally, this video was going to come out sometime around Saturday, but extremely important personal things held this video up. Okay, no bullshit. I was too busy playing Yakuza on PC. It's fucking awesome. So anyway, Godzilla is a franchise that I definitely have a fondness for. I watched a bunch of the movies when I was a kid, and I played the shit out of the PS2 fighting games. Those were always great. Now, I'm not a massive fan of the series, but I ain't gonna lie when I say that kaiju movies kick ass. Now, Godzilla is a character that really has had ups and downs over its, fucking 60-year run. Some movies are fucking great, like Final Wars, and others make you want to go skinny dipping at Chernobyl. Also, watch Chernobyl on HBO, it's really good. America, in particular, has some major problems trying to bring the big green lizard over to our shores. Since the last two attempts gave us Matthew Broderick talking about fish.
That's a lot of fish.
And 2014 was so miserable and boring that people had to literally brainwash themselves into liking it. The movie's good because it keeps Godzilla a mystery. Godzilla, the most recognizable movie monster in cinema history, right there with the Xenomorph and the Predator. Sure, yeah, tons of mystery there. But to be fair, 2014 really did have some spectacular moments, like the trailer stuff, and I liked the fight at the end of the movie, and also Yeah, no, 2014 sucked balls. It tried desperately to be this grounded reboot to the series, but in its attempt at being gritty and real, it forgot the most important aspect of any Godzilla movie. Godzilla, as a franchise, is fucking retarded. There is absolutely zero way you can do a movie and have it not be a cheesy mess working off flimsy logic and pure spectacle. But that's the fucking point. Nobody, and I mean nobody, watches a Godzilla movie expecting something like Blade Runner 2049. You're not going to get explorations of philosophy or intelligent discussions. It's all basically a franchise that devolves into nukes bad. It's very, very childish with its themes. That's something that King of the Monsters not only understood, but fucking excelled at. This movie is blind, stupid, brain-dead fun. And those three ingredients combined together make easily the best Godzilla movie America has ever pumped out. Which, considering the competition, really isn't that much. Fucking crashes the 98 version with no survivors, and broke its foot off in the ass of 2014. And if anybody still thinks that was a good movie, a full 5 years after it's already came out and the hype died down, know this. There was a reason Toho made Shin Godzilla just 2 years after Kick-Ass and Walter White's war with the lizard. It was retaliation. Shin Godzilla, another really good addition to the franchise, is a self-aware, borderline black comedy satire of modern Japanese culture, using a Godzilla attack as the framing device. It's extremely fun to watch, and I highly recommend it. Anyway, King of the Monsters knows that trying to be serious is a terrible idea, and a lot of what adds to the charm of the film is the director, Mike Dougherty's style. Now, if you haven't seen them, Trick or Treat and Krampus are two of the greatest holiday horror movies ever, and both were directed by Dougherty. He simply understands how to make something fun, and really break down what he needs and doesn't need for a Godzilla movie. And really, if you watch this movie, the love he holds for Godzilla is pretty obvious. All the essentials are there. Worthless humans there to fuck up, die, and sit in a control room while shouting exposition? Check. Godzilla is treated as a literal force of nature there to break shit and blow everything up? Check. Completely preposterous plot that's just an excuse to see giant monster fights? Check. Now, the critics have been savaging this movie pretty hard because the story is bad. But you want to know what the big secret of Godzilla is? You might already know Godzilla movies have already been bad. The entire point of Godzilla is purely spectacle. Watch a dude in a rubber suit break cardboard buildings. It's not there to win Oscars, and pretending that it suddenly needs them despite the entire franchise defined by the cheesy-ass Japanese movies and had one attempt at a serious reboot seriously, fuck 2014, is just being an idiot. You don't walk into a Godzilla movie with the same mindset you do with Amadeus. Completely different set of standards to critique it. Of course, the growing rift between critics and audiences is pretty obvious to anyone that's paying attention, especially to the fiascos that were The Last Jedi and Captain Marvel. Audience scores and critic scores lately feel like yin-yang symbols instead of anything with a consistent pattern. The rise of online critics and the death of blog-style reviews definitely have a lot to do with this, since YouTube reviewers seem to be very independent, and a lot of them being started by people who really only have access to cheap internet and free editing software. And they don't have to worry about shifting opinions to go along with corporate wishes. People tend to be a lot more honest when it comes to reviews. Unless it's something like a new Star Wars movie, then they pretend to like it until the fanboys shut the fuck up. Then people are free to hate it like God intended. Now, how's the movie itself? Giant monster fights, gorgeous fan service, stupid humans, hot Asian scientist I want to have sit on my face, and Ken Watanabe is actually allowed to have a significant role this time. So these are all good changes. And while the 2014 movie only had like literally 5 minutes of Godzilla in a 2-hour-long movie, then the rest of the runtime was dedicated to Kick-Ass and his god-awful family, this movie literally shows Godzilla in the first scene. There is a significant focus increase towards what matters, the kaiju. And instead of boring Cloverfield ripoff, every monster shown has significantly more inspiration and creativity put into it. And those are just screen jobbers. The actual monsters that matter are all legacy kaiju. Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, and motherfucking King Ghidorah itself all steal the spotlight, as they fucking should. Now, the actual story itself is very stupid. Basically, there's a MacGuffin device that might control the monsters. Oh, and there's like 20 different monsters sleeping all across the world. But then the plot device gets stolen by bad guys, so the main character goes to save his wife and daughter, who got stolen by the bad men, but then you discover the wife is actually the baddest man. So she wakes up Ghidorah thinking it would save the world because her son died, but then she kills like millions of other people's sons in the process, because Ghidorah wakes up every monster on Earth, so then the main guy basically has to get Godzilla to kill Ghidorah in order to stop the monsters. Yeah, no spoiler warning or anything, because it's a fucking Godzilla movie. If you're worried about spoilers, you're missing the entire point. Because what sells this movie are basically the fights and just the visuals in general. And holy fucking shit are they good. They really nailed the outright apocalyptic feeling that would come from having Godzilla stomping through the city. Buildings collapse into dust, the ground cracks like a glass plate with every step. The attention to detail and just the massive scale of the kaiju is incredible. One of my favorite effects in the movie that pops up every single time Ghidorah's on screen is he has just this massive hurricane constantly surround his body everywhere he goes. So big that entire F5 tornadoes are seen inside of it. And that makes the scenes where humans are running around on the ground inside of the hurricane just a complete visual feast, or a nightmare if you have a severe fear of extreme weather. Now, the characters are fun, but nowhere near excellent. But fun. They're there to explain sciencey bullshit, fuck everything up, and that's about it. This is how you make meh human characters, which is kind of weird to say now that I think about it. 2014's human characters were bad, but almost insufferably so. It was actually painful to sit through the scenes where any of the main characters were on screen. And I think the main reason behind this is just the absolute lack of self-awareness. None of the characters were fun, they were melodramatic and boring. The characters here are significantly more fun. Now, there is humor in the movie, but it's pretty sparse. Only a few characters really crack jokes, so it's not like a bad Guardians of the Galaxy knockoff or a bad attempt at a Marvel movie where no character ever feels serious. This movie knows when to be sad, quote-unquote, or at least pretend to be. The key behind this movie is fun. The fun of a Saturday morning cartoon mixed with a meth binge. Now, if you honestly cannot turn your brain off and accept what's essentially the fast food version of a movie, that's completely understandable. But that's literally what Godzilla has always been. It's buffalo wings and not caviar. KFC, not a 5-star restaurant. It's Guy Fieri, not Wolfgang Puck. These reviews kind of make me hungry. Point is, go watch Godzilla if you just want the perfect movie to sneak booze into the theater. It's shit tons of fun. Nothing else. It doesn't need to be anything else. Alright, see ya.